found the bus on our way out to Kawaguchiko for the day at the foot of Mount Fuji. They say a wise man climbed Mount Fuji once and a fool will climb it twice. I'm not going to get to climb it at all because of, well, the typhoon. And I'm also grossly out of shape. But don't worry, I'll find a way to prove myself a fool at some point, I'm sure. Well, after a brief but rainy 2-hour drive out from Tokyo, we're at Kawaguchiko, now on the shores of Lake Kawaguchiko at the foot of Mount Fuji. And from here you'd see a really great view of Mount Fuji if it weren't entirely covered by clouds being brought in by the typhoon. Okay, Lacey's gonna have to stop outdoing herself because she got us another awesome hotel. This one in Kawaguchiko, just off the lake. Like, you'll see in a second what I mean, just off the lake. There's some well, not yukata, it's actually more like, I don't actually remember what these are called, but it's pants and shirt combination. But got a little sink here, tea set and ice buckets. There's a water closet in there. I don't think you really need that to see that too badly. Here's the living room. So that's neat. Directly adjacent to the bedroom. And over to here, we have one of those big ass 2-sink bathrooms. Lacey very pleased with herself taking pictures of the place because she's done such a good job with this. And then through here we have the shower, which you'll notice there isn't a bath in here because the bath is out here. We have a double-sized big old bathtub for later, which is good because this hotel actually has a bathhouse, but like a lot of bathhouses in Japan, they still don't allow people with tattoos, and Lacey has a couple of small tattoos, and that's still enough. Now, when I said just off the lake, that big black spot there, that's the lake. We are literally right on the lake. And we can see it from our room. Like a lot of hotels of this type, it's more like a resort. You're kind of expected to just come here, hang out, relax, enjoy the bath, enjoy the restaurants. You can leave, of course. There's no saying you have to stay here. But there's a certain amount of possibility that you're not going to, that you're here for the hotel. To that end, they've given us some clothes. In this case, it's this. Instead of yukata, you might find it like a ryokan. This is like a whole pants and shirt and jacket combo. I'm going to be wearing this throughout the whole thing. In fact, this is what I'm going to be wearing down to dinner. This counts as dinnerwear now. And I hope I get to carry over this tradition when I get back to Canada, where wearing my pajamas to dinner isn't just considered okay, it's expected. It's formal wear. As I said before, this type of hotel caters towards the type of person who isn't looking to get very far beyond their hotel. To that end, they have this whole almost shopping street looking place in the hotel to cater to their every whim. On one end is the bath, and it goes all the way down past the ping pong lounge, a regular drinking lounge, a library, what appears to be a kid's playroom, and massage chairs. The restaurant is also on this level. Every hotel around the lake has a sign boasting views of Mount Fuji, and they have reason to boast. It is not an idle thing. I mean, just look at that thing. Look at that mountain. Except that's not Mount Fuji. That would be where Mount Fuji is. Because if I haven't mentioned, there's a typhoon rolling in, and it's a bit rainy. Now, I'm sure by now you've realized that places like Tokyo and Kyoto and Osaka are just friggin' cool with all the lights, all the stores, all the things to see and do, just the hustle and bustle of the place. But maybe you want to get away for some quiet. Maybe you want to go to a place like Kawaguchiko, like we were in a couple days ago. Right now, we're in Hakone, which is just a little bit of a ways away, down a troublingly long and windy bus route. But you can also get there easily from Tokyo, which we probably should have done. Now Hakone has a very small town feel. Even though it's still fairly busy, it's got kind of a Banff feel with it's a little bit touristy, but it's a little bit smaller with more little stores that just have a more local feel to them. It's a lot more quiet. There's more of a sense of peace to the place. So I highly recommend if you want to just chill out for a little while. If you don't need to go to another restaurant or nightclub or weird exhibition, maybe head out to the country. Places like Hakone and Kawaguchiko, they are not the only ones around. There are plenty of other places just like them, and they have that sense of relaxation you are really going to need. Like any island nation, Japan is no stranger to pirate tradition. In fact, did you know that Blackbeard the pirate sailed this lake during the golden age of piracy? In fact, this faithful reproduction of his ship contains everything right from the steel structure to the diesel motors, electrical subsystems, and the onboard cafe. We've just taken the cable gondola up from the lake, and we're now at Wakodani, where we get a real treat. This right here is a very geologically active area. In fact, the entire place absolutely reeks of sulfur right now, which is great because it's one of those places where you can secretly let out a couple of farts and no one can really say anything about it.
Oh God, does anybody else smell that?
I am not kidding about the smell though. What we have been seeing a whole lot lately has been a lot of mist and clouds around mountains, but from down on the ground, I thought that's what this was. Until we started coming up the gondola and I actually saw a plume of smoke kind of coming right out of the ground. Then I realized that's just sulfurous gas and steam. Well, we're just about on our last day in Japan here, so we're taking a final chance to do some shopping, do some last minute exploring, and really just absorb Japan a little bit more until we have to go back to our stupid real lives. You know, for all the kaiseki meals and ryokan breakfasts and ekibens and ramen shops and cup noodles, this is what Anthony Bourdain raved about. Sometimes it's not the fanciest food in the world. Sometimes a simple, pillowy soft egg salad sandwich from Lawson's. It's all you need to really remember somebody and keep their flame. And if it's good enough for him, it's definitely good enough for me. Well, the inevitable has finally happened and Lacey has left me to my own devices while she goes shopping without me hanging around her the whole time. Anyway, I'm heading up to Kappabashi, which, among other things, is known for its kitchen supply stores, and pretty much every aspect of kitchen supply. I'm personally going up there to try to find a new fish knife, but since there's so many different types of things around there, I'll probably stop in on a couple different places. I'll walk the streets of Japan till I get lost, 'cause it doesn't remind me of anything. So I just got me a brand new fish knife from that store back there. Actually, turns out that I've been to that store before and I didn't realize it. I guess it catches my eye no matter what time I pass by here. But it was a very pleasant experience. They took out the knife, they showed me a bunch, they asked me what kind of knife I would need and for what usage. Showed me all kinds, from stainless steel to high carbon steel. I ended up with a high carbon steel knife. And because it was a fish knife, they also gave me a set of fish tweezers. But not only did I get a good knife at a very reasonable price, but when he was showing me the knife and how sharp it was, he was visibly dissatisfied with how sharp it was. And even though I couldn't tell, it looked pretty stellar to me, he kind of grimaced himself and gave it over to the knife sharpening guy. We then spent a good 20 minutes sharpening and testing and resharpening it again until he was satisfied. So even though I'm just some guy from Canada buying a knife who, as far as he knows, doesn't know shit about knives, he still took the time to make it to his satisfaction level. Anyway, we're going to keep going through Kamabashi and try to find some other cool things to check out. So if you've ever gone for sushi, you've probably had kappamaki, the cucumber rolls. Now you might be making a logical connection between kappamaki and kappabashi. Truth is, there is a connection to an extent. In legend, the kappa was a kind of a river imp demon kind of guy, and theoretically he was seen somewhere near here at some point in ancient times. And these little guys like to steal cucumbers. So we have kappa stealing cucumbers, kappamaki. There you go. I am now leaving Kappabashi, so since I'm leaving a place known for its restaurant supply stores, I think it's probably time to find a restaurant where I can have some lunch. While it's probably a universal truth that anywhere there's a trendy area, you're going to find regular things with an increased price, I do think that there is value in stopping at those places. That said, you go down the narrow alleyways, you're going to probably find some real gems, and that's actually what I'm on the lookout for right now. Little alleyways, little restaurants, and hopefully an English menu. Well, I did find myself my little restaurant. It's actually not in an alley, it's just off a main street, but it really had that little feel, and I just kind of love it. It was a little awesome. This little old lady came in. I guess she owns the place or was the mother of the owner or something like that, but she was just delightful. She asked me if I was an actor because she saw my Breathe Parkour shirt, so she assumed I was a stuntman. But yeah, I had a nice simple little meal of oyakodon, which is just egg and chicken and onions on rice. Came with the usual accoutrements, miso soup, some pickles, and it was just a nice simple meal in a nice simple little restaurant, and it was just a goddamn delight. Oh, Yamcha got Yamcha. Yeah, sure, why not? Well, you couldn't see it, but I just beat Frieza and Vegeta and Broly. Part of my day on my own involved going to the only parkour park in Tokyo, which actually isn't really in Tokyo, but kinda is. It's a park called Edogawa City, and it was about an hour train ride away from where we started. Now I'm just heading over to meet Lacey at Akibahara Station for some yakitori if we can swing it. I just hope I didn't embarrass myself or breathe parkour too much with my lacking showing at someone else's gym while wearing their shirt. Alright, caught up with Lacey, and we're finally having what I've been trying to get a hold of the entire trip, was just some simple yakitori. Now we've managed to find a place. It's surprising. There's a lot of these places around. Somehow they were always closed or they were always full. This time we just happened to walk across one when we were trying to get from one train station to another. It's like, now is the time. We're going to eat here. So we're just ordered a bunch of stuff. We're going to get it. They just brought our first round. It's not just yakitori. They have all kinds of, like, I guess you could call them appetizers. They got pickles. They got sashimi. They got little bowls of ramen. They have deep fried things. All kinds of good stuff. And actually, it kind of makes me think maybe this is more of a chain than it is a mom and pop shop. Not to say that it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I can see over my shoulder, I just realized that the Colonel is looking down at me. So I think I'm still doing better for chicken choices than that guy. Digging into some, what was it?
Yaki onigiri.
Yaki onigiri, so toasted onigiri. And I've got myself a little plate of yakitori selections here. Looks like we've got some chicken and onion. I think, oh, good. Have I got more livers? I think might have got more livers. Some more chicken. I think that's chicken thighs. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Maybe that's gizzards. I think that's gizzards. And then what they call chicken bar, but it's basically like a sausage wrapped around the stick, kind of like a kafta. Bye. They say the term umai gets thrown out a lot these days. It's a little bit of extreme. Everything is umai, everything is delicious. I gotta admit, every time I've said it so far, I have not been exaggerating. It is umai, it is delicious. And what night out at an izakaya wouldn't be complete without horrifying Mandy just a little bit. Look, you can see his insides. It's our last day in Tokyo and we're coming up to Tsukiji for breakfast and one last slap at the fish. One last amble at the scramble. And one last rush for ramen before we head to the airport. And that's the end of our journey across Japan. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. And I guess we'll finish things off here in Haneda. Feels like there's something else I should be doing now.